Okay. So let me share the screen. So the topic that we are going to discuss today is called topic modeling, a very interesting and intriguing dimensionality reduction technique. As we have seen two dimensional reduction techniques so far, PCA and LSI, the principal component analysis and latent semantic indexing, which we have covered just before the second sessional. The last dimensionality reduction technique that we are going to talk this time is called latent display allocation, or a simpler name is topic modeling. It is an unsupervised learning algorithm used for dimensionality reduction. It can also be used for other purposes like clustering, document categorization, or keyword extraction from the document, and semantically relatedness between the words also. It has particular application in text processing. This is outcome of very famous research work of David Blay. He's still a very active researcher, so you can see his videos and notes on YouTube also on this topic and also on other topics. So to give you an intuition, let's start with this original Word document vector matrix, which we introduced in latent semantic indexing discussion. We said that for indexing of documents, we maintain such use Word document matrix where every word is a column and every document is a row. And we talked about issue of dimensionality. We talked about the issue of semantics, like one word can mean many things, many words can mean same thing. All these things are not captured in case of normal indexing, or it requires certain level of semantic processing to relate between words and to relate between the documents. That was our intuition for introducing latent semantic indexing or new representation for documents. And we also said that latent semantic indexing technique can give us word vector and document vector from this word document vector. And the underlying technique used for this is known as singular value decomposition. So I hope you remember all this, that principal component analysis and latent semantic indexing both work on idea of eigenvalue and eigenvectors. Principal component analysis works with covariance matrix, n cross n covariance matrix, and it finds the principal component or eigenvectors from this covariance matrix. On the other hand, latent semantic indexing works on Word document matrix and it performs singular value decomposition of Word document matrix to create three different metrics. One matrix called word matrix, second called document matrix, and the matrix that lies between them is called a singular matrix, singular value matrix, where singular values are square root of eigenvalues. Right? We have seen example of both of these techniques. And we have argued that the latent semantic indexing helps in revealing the underlying semantics by creating this word matrix and document matrix. So you have a map between documents without looking at the words. And similarly, you have maps between words, yet from where you can figure out related words. So that was the idea of singular value decomposition. Now let us add third dimension in this discussion, in this Word document matrix. And that dimension is called topic dimension. Many of you would know that a document talks about a topic, usually more than one topic. A document may touch upon more than one topic. So it is not just about the document and word, but we also need to know the underlying topics. And this is from where the method derives its name, topic modeling. We want to find out which topic the document talks about. And there can be more than one topics. Right? A document can talk about more than one topic. A word can belong to more than one topic. So this is a many to many relation. So in a way, you can look at this as a clustering technique where you want to group the document into different topics. But the catch here is that one document can belong to more than one topic. And similarly, one word can belong to more than one topic. Let us see some example of this. Our idea is that word comes, words come from topic, documents belong to topic. So we have this delta or triangle of word, topic, and document. And this is a many to many relation. That's why I put star over there. A topic contains many words. A word can belong to many topics. A topic can be assigned to many documents. In a document can have many topics. Similarly, a document can have many words, and a word can belong to many documents. Let us see an example. Like Sachin Tendulkar named in Pandora Papers exposing offshore tax havens. Cricketer Sachin Tendulkar's names has emerged in the Pandora Papers leak, which claimed to expose financial secrets of current and former world leaders, politicians, and public officers. So this is a news article. This is some clip from news. And now we want to assign topic to this. So which topic this document belongs to? Obviously, some common answer would be it can be either sports. You can count it as sports document because Sachin Tendulkar is involved there. So people who follows cricket might be interested in reading this. This can also go as finance because it talks about taxes and problem with the tax payment and all that. And some might also argue that it is a political article because a lot of politics is also involved in this. So usually the sports people, finance people, and politicians might be interested into this news. How do we know that these are the three categories of this document? Because we have looked at the words and the matter of the text, as Urjit is rightly saying, and based on that, we tried to assign topics. But we did it very intelligently, very intuitively through our brain. What we are going to learn today is if you want to write a program which can figure out this thing, like this article has this many topics, then how do we do that? So that is the question that we want to seek answer today. So we look at words, we read the text, we get some meaning, we understand something from the text, and then we say that okay, it might be into these three categories: sports, finance, and politics. Of course, the degree of we may not agree on degree of belongingness into these three categories. Some of you might say that it is more of a finance and less of a sports and politics. Some of you might say it is more of a politics and less of sports and finance. So that is probability, right? You can assign probability that probability of this article to be counted as finance article is zero point 0.6. I'm just saying some number. Probability of this article to be counted as politics is zero point 0.3. and probability of this article to be counted as sports is 0.1. Let's say this is my probability distribution. So I believe you got the idea where we are leading. So we are leading towards learning a probability distribution of topics. We have range of topics 0 to k. Let's say we have k topics, and for every word we want to decide the probability of word taking topic 1, topic 2, and so on. Probability of Sachin being in sports category, probability of Sachin being in finance category, probability of Sachin being in politics category, and out of that one will be assigned. Similarly, probability of Tendulkar being in sports category, Tendulkar being in finance category, Tendulkar being in politics category. In our probability language, we would say that probability of finance given Tendulkar, probability of politics given Tendulkar, probability of sports given Tendulkar. Right? Similarly, probability of sports given Pandora, probability of finance given Pandora, probability of politics given Pandora. So by looking at word, we want to calculate this probability of topic. And similarly for the document, once the word we get the probability of words, we try to calculate probability of document getting some topics. Right? So this is how we are trying. This is proposed as a problem of probability networks and a beautiful modeling that we'll see very shortly. Let us take another example. The Narcotic Bureau (NCB) has collected almost all evidence against Aryan Khan, and the son of Bollywood superstar Sachin Shah Rukh Khan may get relief on Thursday even as the agency is trying to catch the network of peddlers who supply drugs to high profile buyers. Again, multiple topics, right? Bollywood might tell you that this is a movie article. Drugs might tell you that this is narcotic article or a crime article by looking at police. And again, we try to model the topic, same story that we try to model the topic by looking at words, and we learn the distribution of topics given word and distribution of documents given topic. These are the two distributions that we want to learn. Now, one thing that you realize here is this is a multinomial case. If there are only two topics, then we are talking about binomial case, but we say that there can be multiple topics. So this is a case of multinomial distribution. And what role the binomial plays in beta distribution, the same role Dirichlet distribution plays in multinomial distribution. And that role is called conjugate prior. Dirichlet distribution is a conjugate prior for multinomial distribution. It means that if you multiply a multinomial with a Dirichlet, the resultant is also Dirichlet. Remember this, I'm not sure whether you have studied Dirichlet and multinomial before or not, but I believe you know the binomial and beta distribution. Remember this for now, even if you have not heard of this before. We will link it when we reach there. So let us see what I mean by this. So I said we want to learn probability of word given topic and probability of topic given documents. There is generative way of looking at this. And what we want to model is probability of theta given x is equal to probability of x given theta and probability of theta. The setup which we already know by now, where probability of theta given x is called posterior, where we are predicting the class labels or predicting the underlying distribution. X given theta is called likelihood, and whatever you know about theta in advance is called prior. Now let's come to this Dirichlet thing. So I said that when you multiply theta with x given theta, likelihood, the resultant distribution is theta given x. And as we had seen in Naive-Bayes classifier, while learning, we are iterating over this. We calculate the likelihoods and we iterate over that. So while you are iterating over this to estimate the parameters, the distribution of prior and posterior has to be same. Right? Whatever distribution the prior has, the same distribution should be of posterior. So that's why I introduced this distribution. So in case of binomial, where everything is binary, beta distribution can play a role as a conjugate prior. Conjugate prior means when you multiply with this, resultant also remains same. Similarly, for multinomial, which is the case now for topic modeling, because we said there are multiple topics, posterior will be same if you use or if you make an assumption that the data is coming from a Dirichlet distribution. And that is what we mean by conjugate prior. So let us look at the graph to understand what it is. Graphical model and plate notations are already known to you. We are looking at a graph where we have k topics. So k is the number of topics. D documents and n words. So we are looking at a data set of D documents and n words, and we want to assign k topics to these D documents and n words. So where does these topics come from? These k topics. This k topics comes from an underlying distribution eta, underlying distribution beta defined by beta k and controlled by parameter eta. There is an underlying distribution, and this distribution is latent. So we do not know in advance that which topics are there in the document. We know the number of topics. We can say that we want to divide the data into 10 topics, 20 topics, 30 topics, but we don't know what kind of topics are there. We don't know whether these documents are of politics, sports, and yeah. So this is another interesting part of LDA why it has become very popular. I thought I would tell you after looking at the algorithm, but it is right time to introduce here. If you have tried any clustering algorithms before, then you do it in advance. Usually in indexing, usually in clustering, you know what kind of data you are dealing with. For example, if you are clustering fruits or classifying fruits, then you know that one is apple and one is orange, and you want to classify between apple and orange. In this case, latent direct allocation technique, the technique that we are going to discuss today, that we are discussing today, in this, a number of topics are fixed, but what kind of topics are there is not fixed. That we want to that we want the algorithm to find out itself, whether it is a politics document, sports document, or entertainment document, or science document. That we want machine to figure it out. That's why it is called latent topic distribution, and the distribution that we assume is called Dirichlet because it is a conjugate prior. Don't worry if you do not know this Dirichlet distribution because we just need to make an assumption on the distribution. It won't have much of the implications. So we assume that the data is coming from a multinomial distribution, and for that we assume the distribution type is Dirichlet distribution. So topics are coming from Dirichlet distribution. That's why the name latent Dirichlet allocation. So what topics will be assigned to word? Similarly, latent per document topic proportion. We also do not know how many topics are there in the document. Right? I said that We do not know that in advance, and we want to learn that also. So that is called another parameter, theta, and this is also latent. So we want to learn two things, or rather we say that two things are latent. One is per document topic distribution, and second is topic parameters or topics. Topics are also latent or hidden somewhere, and per document topic proportion is also latent. And both of them are defined, or we assume that there is underlying Dirichlet distribution from where the topics are coming. And we define corresponding parameter to tune that. Right? That is what algorithm do. So we define a parameter alpha and a parameter eta, which can control this assumption that how many topic parameters are there, how many per document topic proportions are there. So while training, we fix the value of alpha and eta, and based on that, we calculate our results. So these are the two latent things or hidden things or unknown for now. And once these two things are given, we want to calculate this thing, these two things. So these two things are calculated based on observed word and latent, this three information. So this is latent, and this is observed. Latent means it is there, but you do not know. And observed is what you see. So what we can see is shown here as a brown circle called word. WDN means word of D documents N words, or nth word of Dth document. And what we want to assign is Z, that is topic of that word. So ZD is the topic of the word, and W is the word. So we want to look at the Dth word of nth document. And this, someone is saying voice is breaking. It seems my network has created some trouble. Is it better now? Can you hear me? Urjit Priyank? Okay. Maybe some temporary network issue. So what we want to do is, we want to, the same thing which we have seen with this news article, we want to look at the words of the article and assign some topic, and cumulatively we will assign topic to document also. But what is the underlying topic distribution, and how the documents, how the topics are distributed inside the document, that we do not know. So that we want to make assumption. So that assumption comes from, assumption is that it is coming from an underlying Dirichlet, which we want to control by alpha and eta parameter. And once that is given, we look at the word and we assign corresponding topic. So entire story can be summarized in this strange form, a bit scary formula. So what we are doing is, we want to calculate probability of all the unknowns, beta, theta, z, w, given alpha and n. Right? We said that these are the latent parameters that we assume. So alpha and eta are the two parameters, and based on these two parameters, we want to calculate everything else. If you break it down, it is beta given eta, because the topic distribution beta comes from underlying latent parameter eta, so that is probability of beta.
Similarly, the document topic distribution, that is theta D. So let me use a pointer. So this is topic distribution. How many topics are there? That is controlled by eta, as I said. Then document topic distribution. How many topics are there in a document? That is theta D. That I said that is also latent and it is controlled by alpha. And then ZDN, that is the topic assigned to a word and topic assigned to a document. ZDN is the topic assigned to document, WDN is topic assigned to a word. These two things we want to calculate. This is a generative model, a plate diagram. There are a bit many intricacies of probability. We will not touch there because we have a very powerful technique. Once this generative model is established, we have a very powerful algorithm through which we can very easily compute this. But before that, let me summarize a few things. One is it is an unsupervised learning method. Second is this is a generative model, Bayesian network, which we had seen, but the Bayesian network of multinomial. And that's why our underlying distribution assumption is now Dirichlet distribution. That's why the name is latent Dirichlet allocation. What we are assuming is that the underlying topic distribution that is controlled by topic parameter, which we do not know, and underlying uh, document topic relation, which we call which is controlled by something called proportional proportions parameter. And we control these two things, and we look at the observed word and assign topic. Right? So this is the generative story. Now, how do we do this? All this formula is fine, but as I said, if it is unsupervised, and if you do not, if you want to do it in a supervised way, then you need a collection of millions of documents where every word is marked with some topic, and then you count the probabilities, all this probability, and then you can say that algorithm is learned. But that is very impractical thing to do. So the actual power of this algorithm comes from making it unsupervised. So let's say we do not have document topic assigned. We do not have the supervised material available or dataset for supervised where every word has a topic assigned because nobody is going to sit and do that. In that case, how do we do this? Any questions? I will pause for 1 or 2 minutes. If you have any questions, any idea, please ask me. Any questions? Is the setup and intuition clear? Okay, Urjit is asking how we'll identify this is a topic. Yes, and generally saying yes, how it will improve the number of output labels. Okay, yes. So this is exactly the problem, right? All these probability stories are fine, but how do we know that which topic we need to label? There can be infinite number of topics around text in this world. To answer Janel's question, the number of topics is fixed. When we run an algorithm, we run for a fixed number of topics. We say that let's say there are 10 topics or 20 topics or 50 topics. That number of topic is fixed. But the answer of Urji is how do you identify this is a topic? How do you know that it is about this particular topic? That is not known. And we hope that the algorithm will figure out the topic for us. So that's why it is called latent Dirichlet allocation. That's why we made this Dirichlet assumption that there are many topics. We don't know what kind of topics they are, but it is coming from some Dirichlet, which is controlled by a parameter eta. Generally says we can create a vector representation. Yes, we can create vector representation, that Word document vector from where we have started. But how do we know that how many topics are there? Given that what kind of documents we are talking about, that also is not specified so far, right? Clustering, yes. So this is in a way a clustering technique, but a bit more intelligent. Okay, so I think these are the kind of questions I was expecting you to ask. So it says that okay, the right curiosity is there in your mind to discuss how we can solve it. So this is a generative Bayesian network framework which we have set up so far, and we know that the power of generative model is you can uh, create samples, right? You can generate samples, and we had seen many interesting approximation algorithms. One of those was Gibbs sampling. I said that Gibbs sampling can help us in generating samples, and that samples can be used to make comments about the underlying distribution or to make intelligent decisions. So this is where Gibbs sampling comes to our help, and that's why I didn't go into much discussion about the Dirichlet distribution and this generative model, because that was the assumption that we want to use. The real thing comes from Gibbs sampling, and it makes the actual implementation very simple. So even if you are not clear about these probability values and confused about the display and all that, this will make everything very clear, and it will make the practical implementation of LDA technique very easy. Let us see how it works. So Gibbs sampling says as we know Gibbs, what we do in Gibbs sampling is now every word is a random variable. If you want to relate the Gibbs sampling with the Bayesian network Gibbs sampling that we talked about, every word is a random variable, and every word needs to be assigned a topic. The topic is your probability. So how do we start with? We start with random assignment. Randomly assign a topic to each word. Then from the random assignment, calculate probability of topic for a word, given the word topic distribution of the other words. Look at the word topic distribution and correspondingly assign the topic. And do it for one word at a time. Calculate for one word at a time. So let us see what I mean by this. I have a topic list here. So my initial assumptions are, I say that let's say I want to divide it into 5 topics. Number of topics are frozen. Let's say I have 5 topics, and I want to categorize this article into this set of topics. I want to learn the distribution of topics for this document. So let's say there are 2 documents. This is document one. It doesn't make much difference though. This is document one. This is document two, and I want to learn the topic distribution. So what does Gibbs sampling say? As I said, what we did in this previous example of Sachin Tendulkar and Aryan Khan, we look at the word and try to judge the topic it belongs to. Five, no, total 5 topics, Urjit. Not 5 topics per document. There are total 5 topics. Markov Monte, yes, it is MCA. Markov chain Monte Carlo method, yes. So what we do is we randomly assign topics to these words. With this Aryan Khan and Sachin Tendulkar example, we intelligently choose the topic for word and calculate the final words. The same thing we do through algorithm, through Gibbs sampling, but we have to start with a random. So let us say speaking is a topic 1, Panchayat is topic 2. Maybe I'm ignoring the unnecessary words. A3 is topic 3, Punjab is topic 1 again, PM is topic 4, Chennai is topic 4, Spade is topic 1, Mari is, let's say, topic 3, Circus is topic 5, Hay is topic 1, so topic 2, and so on. This topic again 3 or 5, then 1, then topic 2. I start assigning topic to words like this T3 and T4 and so on for all the words. So that is first step, as we mentioned here. Randomly assign a topic to each word. And now once the words are randomly assigned, believe that the assignment is correct. Believe that, and with that belief, try to change assignment of one word at a time. So calculate this probability of WT, whatever assignment it is. Given what we want to do is find probability of WT for one topic, all other words, right? So assume that everything else is correct. All this purple T1, T2, T3 is correct. Take all this assignment is correct, then what should be the topic assigned to word speaking? That we want to find out. Relate with the Gibbs sampling of Bayesian network that we studied earlier. What we did was we assigned some value to the random variables initially, and then we change value of one random variable at a time, assuming that everything else is correct, and we use the Bayesian model to calculate probability of the word under the random variable under consideration. Then second word, then third random variable, and so on. Right? Same thing we do here. Yes, Chandil. So there was binary, now it is 5. So your loop will iterate that many more times. So we need to, for every word, like for example, for speaking, you have 5 probability. Speaking belonging to topic 1, speaking belonging to topic 2, speaking belonging to topic 3, and so on. Right? So you will have, for every word, you have this matrix topic vector T1, T2, T3, T4, and T5. And you will have different probability for that. Right? As I said, the Sachin Tendulkar article is in finance category with probability of 6, in sports category with probability of 3, and so on. So you have this topic given like this 0.3, 0.4, 0.2, and so on. Yes, channel is saying same thing. WT1, WT2. Yes, we need to calculate all. And similarly for the document also. In document also, we our document distribution. How many time a topic occurs in document, or how topic is distributed across the document, and so on. So if you see it in matrix form, there are two metrics that we want to learn. One is topic word matrix, and second is document topic matrix. So we are given Word document. We are given Word document and K topics. We are told that there are K topics. What topics we don't know, but we know that there are K topics. So this is N cross D matrix. N words, D document. This is given. And from that, we want to calculate these two metrics. A n cross k and a d cross k or k cross k. Right? Are you with me so far? And how do we do this? We start with this one. If you like this metric representation. So we start with this matrix. We assign this matrix randomly. So for example, in this case, speaking at पंचायत आज तक पंजाब सीएम चन्नी से हमारी सर्कस है तो बंदर का रोल है. Let me see some word which occurs more than one. So there are no words repeating in this. Let me take few more. So let's say day is assigned here topic 1 and here it is assigned topic 2 because I did it randomly. Right? So in my vector, if word 1 is day, then we have topic 1 once, topic 2 once, and all other topics 0. Similarly, hey is assigned topic 1 here, is assigned topic 3 here. So if the second word is hey, so here's topic 1 once, topic 2 0, topic 3 once, and all other 0. Would it say circus also? Yes, circus, but T5 here and let's say T2 here. So for third word is circus, let's say. Then T2 and T5 is 1. Everything else is 0. Right? So this is our starting point of gift sampling algorithm. And then we go word by word. We look at distribution of all other words and change distribution of a single word at a time. We keep on iterating over words like this until the distribution is stable. We know that if you run the gift sampling sufficient number of times, it reaches to a stability level where you don't see much change in the probability. And then you say that now the output or now the distribution that we are looking at is the actual distribution, underlying distribution. So let us see how we do it through algorithm. So input is word document vector, output is topic assignment, and some counts like how many times a topic occurs in document, that is NDK, NKW, how many times a word is assigned topic K, and NK, that what is your number of topic distribution. So randomly initialize Z and increment counter. So that is assigned topic to every word. Like this gets topic 1, is get topic 2, A gets topic 1, and so on. So this is random initialization of Z. Then for each iteration, you will iterate for n number of times because there are n words. And you want to change probability of one word at a time. So iterate n number of times. Take the current word and current topic that you assign from here. So this is ith word for which you want to calculate probability, given that probability assignment of all other words is correct. So fetch it into word, current word and topic under operation, and initialize a counter of document topic, word topic, and end topic. You have in first iteration, or you have just seen the topic only once. So the topic is no, it is -1. So this is -10. It is not very nicely visible here. So end topic is equal to ND topic minus 1. N word topic is equal to N word topic minus 1. And N topic is equal to N topic minus 1. This is what is written here. What does it mean? Because now the current word's topic is removed. Now we want to reassign a new topic to the current word. So in your total count of that topic, reduce it by 1. Total count of word assigned that topic, reduce it by 1. And total count document assigned that topic also reduce by 1. And then begin your processing. So as Janil has said, for every word, we need to learn probability for all k topics, right? So next iteration is for k is equal to 0 to k minus 1. Iterate from 0 to k minus 1 and calculate probability of z is equal to k, the particular k, 0 to n minus 1, k minus 1, given the current distribution. So what is the current distribution? Look at the document and see that how many times the topic k occurred in the document, that is n d comma k. Look at the word w and see how many times the topic k is assigned to word w. Divide it by total number of times the topic k occurred in the document. And you get your answer of probability of z equal to k. Alpha k and beta w are the smoothing factors of the algorithm, which we need to initialize at the beginning. So the kind of hyperparameters which you need to initialize and train. So throughout your training, alpha and beta will remain same. But what you count in your process is ndk and nkw and nk. Right? So you count this and you have this topic vector probability of z is equal to k that we were looking for. Once this process is done for all k topics, assign the new topic using the sampling technique from PZ. Assign the new topic, that topic becomes your topic for the word at index I, WI. Increment that counter and move on for the next word. Keep on repeating this for sufficient number of times and you will reach to a fair distribution of word topic and topic document. So that's it. That is latent Dirichlet allocation or topic material technique through which we can assign latent topics to document. We don't have time to sum up or to open for questions because it is already 2:30. So I will stop here, but please read this and ask me if you have doubts when we meet next time.